Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Bond is buried by Sharon and the detective, and Nick's tardiness spoils the reunion. Nick's delay in traveling to Los Angeles to see Noah Newman with Sharon Newman is hinted to in spoilers for the young and the ridiculous. After sharing a kiss months ago, Sharon and Nick gradually reignited their romance. Fans are still anticipating more. Nick Newman is concerned. If he and Sharon get back together, Nick is concerned about how this will impact their friendship and co-parenting relationship. Sharon, though, wants to make a big push. Noah wanted his parents' assistance in starting a new club in Los Angeles. Detective Burrows makes his debut when Noah is in danger the week of October 13th. After the article was written against Kane Ashby, Nick was told to stay put even though he was scheduled to depart on October 9th. This was because Newman needs all hands on deck. Nick was also encouraged by Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, to remain in place. Since Sharon will be by herself in Los Angeles, she could simply rely on Detective Burrows. Noah Newman has been hurt. Fans are aware that Sharon would give Nick a call the following week to inform him that Noah was involved in a serious accident. Sharon will need someone to confide in while Nick is still in Genoa City. And because Nick isn't there, it appears that the detective might be that someone. Could Sharon wind up waiting for Nick to join her in Burrows' bed? Instead of forming a romantic relationship with Burrows, Sharon may just rely on him and find solace in him. As Nick attempts to disentangle himself from Victor's conflict with Kane, it appears that Sharon's hands will be bound. After all, if Noah is in that awful of form, he will require a lot of care. How much time will it take for Noah to recover? Nick Newman arrives in Los Angeles. Given Noah's problems, Nick will eventually travel to Los Angeles. Sharon might, however, discover that she is more drawn to the detective than Nick. Since Nick's family problems have prevented him from reaching her in Los Angeles when she needs him to be there for their son, will Sharon feel it's time to move on? According to spoilers, Nick and Sharon's reunion will encounter yet another obstacle. Would Nick and Sharon come to the conclusion that their friendship would be more beneficial and maintain their platonic relationship? Will Nick accept Sharon's decision to go on to someone else while she waits for him in Los Angeles? While in Los Angeles, who else could become involved in Nick's troubles? Will everything change once Tessa and Daniel share a kiss in Boston? Tessa Porter and Daniel may share a kiss, according to spoilers and updates for the young and the restless. This might occur after Mariah Copeland rejects her wife while they are in Boston. Mariah's post-traumatic stress disorder and Tessa's emotional roller coaster. After a terrible work trip, Tessa has been going through a difficult period for weeks as she deals with Mariah's PTSD. Tessa turned to Daniel for help amid her marital problems after Mariah left her and their daughter, Aria Copeland Porter, shortly after the tragedy. When Mariah got wasted at a motel while traveling for Cassidy One, she met an older man called Will Hensley, and the two became close that night. Before entering one of the rooms, they were spotted having a very private moment at the bar, but it's unknown what happened next. Fortunately, Will lived despite Mariah's admission that she tried to choke him. The hotel staff observed that the man was quite shaken up and left really quickly. The man was shaken but alive, and the hotel personnel noted that he left fast in the middle of the night. Mariah went to Boston for therapy. Tessa decided to visit her wife this week after expressing how much she missed her, and Daniel, her new best friend, agreed to accompany her. Even though Tessa isn't aware of it, Daniel has, of course, become fond of her. Through their guitar lessons, they have bonded, and he has supported Tessa during the dissolution of her marriage. Nevertheless, Daniel's desire to assist is sincere because he is aware that Tessa still has feelings for Mariah and doesn't feel the same way about him. Daniel loves Tessa very much. Daniel merely wants to help Tessa so she doesn't have to confront obstacles alone since he respects her, cares for her, and admires her strength. He also assured Mariah that he would take care of her and Aria, but it's quite likely that she won't want to meet her wife when Tessa and Daniel get to Boston. Why would Mariah push Tessa away now when she has done so repeatedly throughout this process? It's simple to imagine Tessa showing up at the Boston clinic excited to see Mariah, only to have her wife reject her. She might also inform Tessa that there is no way to save their marriage. Mariah traveled to Boston in order to get better, and Tessa's sudden visit could jeopardize those plans. Mariah has set boundaries for Tessa to cross. Additionally, it violates the limits Mariah established, and Tessa may feel exposed and vulnerable as a result of the hurt of rejection and the certainty that her marriage is ended. Although she will rely on Daniel, would she be able to lean in for a kiss while he is encouraging her and offering words of support? Mariah and Tessa ending their relationship wouldn't be shocking, according to upcoming spoilers for the CBS serial opera. After that, Mariah returned from Boston prepared to try their marriage once more, and Tessa moved on with Daniel. Only Genoa City can provide the emotional upheaval promised by the forthcoming storyline on the young and the restless. Heartbreak, tension, and surprising chemistry permeate the atmosphere as October progresses. A whole new network of connections, remorse, and temptation is sparked by Nick Newman's tardiness in arriving in Los Angeles. Sharon Newman is once more torn between loneliness and love, dedication and fate. Sharon and Nick have represented unresolved business for years. One of the show's most enduring romantic legacies is the history they have constructed, which is braided through decades of passion, betrayal, tragedy, and redemption. From Faith's hardships to Cassie's passing, from Nick's frequent blunders to Sharon's mental health issues, fans have been there for them through it all. The hope that perhaps, just possibly, they could once more find comfort in each other's arms was rekindled when they recently shared that beautiful kiss. However, simplicity is not something that Genoa City believes in, and this week, fate steps in once more. Nick's delay, a turning point in time. In order to support their son, Noah Newman, who is starting a new club in Los Angeles, Nick was expected to travel there with Sharon. The endeavor was a new beginning for Noah, a means of escaping the Newman shadow and asserting his individuality. In order to represent togetherness as he embarked on the next phase of his life, he wanted both of his parents by his side. But back in Genoa City, turmoil broke out as Nick's flight date drew near. The Newman empire was rocked by a devastating expose that targeted Kane Ashby. Just when Nick's heart was turning elsewhere, Victor dragged him into the corporate struggle and insisted that all family members remain close. Ever the voice of practical calculation, Adam reaffirmed Victor's order. You cannot leave at this time. As a result, Nick once again prioritized his family's demands before his own happiness, a habit that would ultimately cost him dearly. Sharon didn't want to acknowledge that the delay was more than just a hassle. It was heartbreak. She recognized Nick's devotion to his father's business, but she also realized that each setback weakened the brittle bridge they were attempting to repair. She made an effort to remind herself that she wasn't alone as she prepared to leave for Los Angeles. She had Noah and a purpose, but soon a new person would enter her life and challenge all of her preconceived notions about loyalty. Detective Burrows comes into play. The arrival of Detective Burrows, played by Matt Cohen, in Los Angeles gives Sharon's plot a fresh lease on life. Sparks softly fly from the minute they meet. Initially, they are not romantic pyrotechnics, but rather a growing understanding. Former New York police officer Burrows is currently advising on an LA task force, meets Sharon following Noah's mishap. He is composed, perceptive, and exudes a subdued intensity that Sharon finds irresistible. Burrows gives Sharon emotional protection in their opening scenes, something she hasn't experienced in a while. Burrows' world is refreshingly uncomplicated, in contrast to Nick's, who frequently carries familial baggage with his love. He listens to Sharon without passing judgment, comprehends the language of suffering, and sees the power that lies beneath her sorrow. Burrows is the first person on the scene of Noah's accident, which is a near-fatal vehicle wreck that renders him unconscious and hospitalized. He is the one who contacts Sharon, takes her to the hospital, and stays with her despite her insistence that everything is all right. Long-time viewers find great resonance in these little moments. Sharon has consistently provided consolation and kept things together when others broke down. It is both heartwarming and unnerving to see her as the one receiving gentle, unselfish care. It reawakens a craving she has attempted to repress since Ray's passing. The urge to be respected, seen, and shielded. A shoulder on which to rest. Sharon's loneliness starts to show through her calm appearance as the days go by. The weight of uncertainty, the beeping devices, and the antiseptic hospital hallways all have an adverse effect. Noah is recovering slowly, and it seems like forever goes by without any updates. Burrows turns into her rock, a silent presence by her side, providing talk, coffee, and company when she needs it most. Their mutual weakness strengthens their bond. Sharon talks candidly about Cassie's passing and how the experience changed her life. Burrows talks about his personal experience, which includes a failed marriage, a partner killed while performing their duty, and lingering guilt. Their mutual awareness of loss, a bond that goes beyond mere attraction, provides them comfort. These scenes are masterfully and subtly crafted by the writers. Beneath the surface, their chemistry is simmering, driven more by compassion than passion. When Sharon thanks him for his assistance, her hand briefly touches his, and the stillness that ensues tells it all. The gravitational pull of two wounded souls finding balance in one another is felt by both, even while neither approaches. Nick's homecoming war. Nick, meantime, is overwhelmed by his responsibilities back in Genoa City. As Victor and Kane's conflict deepens, the Newman family finds itself in a moral and business bind. Another level of tension is created by Adam's manipulation, which makes Nick wonder if his brother is assisting or impeding him. The knot in Nick's chest gets tighter with each call from Sharon. He assures her that he will arrive as quickly as possible, but each time he is ready to depart, a new catastrophe occurs. Nick's internal conflict is exactly reflected in this conflict. He has been caught between two worlds for years, the man who wants to live his life as he sees fit and the duty-bound son. He appears to lose something important with every choice he takes. He now runs the risk of losing Sharon, the only person who has ever loved him without conditions, as a result of his indecision. Nick reacts in utter dread when Sharon calls to inform him of Noah's accident. When he hurries to catch a flight, he drops everything. But by the time he gets to Los Angeles, things have changed. The Sharon he left behind has changed. She is more composed, stronger, and possibly emotionally aloof. Before she even says a word, Nick senses it. The non-reunion reunion. Instead of being a reunion, Nick's presence at the hospital is a moment of revelation. Sharon gives him a tight hug while crying, yet there is a clear distance between them. Nick observes the ease with which Sharon grins at him when Detective Burrows enters the room a few moments later, the ease that is often his. Despite his best efforts to conceal it, Nick's face sparks with jealousy. Burrows takes a step back, giving space, and is grounded and respectful. However, the harm has already been done. A doubtful seed is sown. Sharon believes that Nick's delay is due to priorities rather than time. He wasn't there when she needed him. Nick's long-suppressed insecurities come to the surface when he sees another man stand by Sharon. Unspoken tension permeates their interactions over the course of the following few days. In theory, Sharon is correct when she tells Nick that nothing occurred between her and Burrows. However, she has already gone too far emotionally. Because of Nick's absence, she has let someone else see a side of herself. Is Sharon going to move on? Sharon finds herself at a crossroads as Noah starts his gradual recuperation. A part of her is lured to the tranquility she experiences in Burrows, but she still loves Nick and always will. It's something more stable and secure rather than the ferocious love of youth. She questions whether she needs a partner that accepts her for who she is now and doesn't hold onto the baggage of her past. But Nick isn't prepared to let go. Though his remarks sound hollow, he swears that their love story isn't done. Every problem at Newman Enterprises causes him to return to Genoa City, and his assurances that he will return quickly become less frequent. Sharon starts to recognize the pattern for what it is, a fundamental difference in their pathways rather than a case of unfortunate timing. According to spoilers, this might be another pivotal moment in their relationship. They may choose to stay friends, putting their family and shared history ahead of romance. Fans, however, are wise enough not to give up completely. Love, like theirs on the young and the restless, simply changes. It never really dies. Daniel and Tessa's Boston kiss, when comfort is too much. On the opposite coast, another couple encounters a similar dilemma as Sharon struggles with emotional temptation in Los Angeles. Tessa Porter, Mariah Copeland, and Daniel's plot highlights moral complexity, artistic enthusiasm, and unfiltered emotion. Tessa's music and her heart have always been what characterize her. She has experienced betrayal, atonement, and the arduous path to self-acceptance since coming to Genoa City. In the past, her marriage to Mariah was a celebration of embracing authenticity and overcoming pain, a lighthouse of love and optimism. However, that light has waned recently. Mariah's declining trend. Their marriage has been shattered by Mariah's PTSD, which was brought on by a tragic business trip. Mariah distanced herself from Tessa and their daughter Aria, plagued by self-loathing and shame. She was startled to learn that she had almost strangled a man during a drunken blackout, and Tessa felt powerless. Although Mariah intended for her decision to seek therapy in Boston to be a step toward healing, it ended up becoming an escape. She told Tessa she needed space and physically and emotionally separated herself. For a time, Tessa accepted it, but the silence became intolerable. She missed the cooperation that had once characterized her and her family, as well as her marriage. Here comes Daniel, a creative person who knows the language of heartache. Over playing guitar together and engaging in similar artistic endeavors, the two became close. Tessa wanted understanding without pressure, and Daniel's artistic flair and empathy gave her just that. A friendship turns into a lifeline. At first, Daniel's support was unadulterated. He was impressed by Tessa's fortitude, her ability to juggle parenting and music, and her continued optimism for Mariah's recovery. Admiration, however, has a way of developing into something more profound. Both of them found solace in their friendship. Daniel, secretly falling in love with someone he knows he shouldn't, and Tessa, lonely and unsure. Daniel is adamant about accompanying Tessa when she chooses to travel to Boston to see Mariah. Despite its good intentions, the decision bears the burden of unsaid emotions. For both of them, the journey turns into a furnace that tests the limits of their capacity for temptation and compassion. The kiss that transforms everything. After a devastating altercation, Tessa and Daniel's tension reaches its highest point. Tessa is rejected when she eventually runs into Mariah at the clinic. Guilt-ridden and frail, Mariah informs her wife that their marriage is finished. Tessa is devastated by the words and sobs as she walks away. As he waits outside, Daniel observes her suffering and makes an effort to console her. She glances up, looking for anything, to cling to while he tells her she deserves love and happiness. Emotions take precedence over reason in that situation. She tilts her head in. The kiss is sweet, quick, and confused. They both understand what it means when it's over. Nothing and everything all at once. Terrified by her actions, Tessa withdraws. Daniel says he's sorry and that he was at fault. Knowing that one impetuous moment has changed the trajectory of their friendship, and possibly their futures, they sit in quiet. The repercussions. Later, when Mariah realizes she pushed too far, she reaches out and finds Tessa far away. Tessa is consumed by wrath as much as guilt. She carried their family by herself for months, and when she eventually broke, everyone condemned her for seeking solace elsewhere. The scenario precisely reflects Sharon's predicament. Two lonely yet devoted women divided between emotional survival and loyalty. Daniel, on the other hand, is experiencing moral conflict. Although he is aware that he has gone too far, he also understands that what transpired was the result of sincere concern rather than coercion. He starts to question whether fate brought him to Tessa for a reason. However, in the world of soap operas, well-meaning intentions can lead to heartache. Themes in parallel: time, distance, and love. A common thread in all plots is how time and emotional distance can sever even the tightest ties. Duty and circumstance separate Sharon and Nick, causing their relationship to deteriorate. The trauma and quiet cause Tessa and Mariah's marriage to fall apart. Burrows and Daniel, two new characters, act as emotional pillars in both situations, making it difficult to distinguish between friendship and love. The honesty of human passion, not the possibility of adultery, is what gives these tales their force. They draw attention to the ways that fear, loneliness, and the need for connection influence people to make bad decisions. Burrows and Sharon have a survival bond rather than one based on treachery. Tessa's desire for confirmation that she still matters is what drives her to kiss Daniel, not lust. These emotional entanglements will have repercussions that extend well beyond their personal relationships, in typical young and the restless way. Nick might have to deal with the fallout from consistently prioritizing his career over his relationships. Sharon might ultimately come to the conclusion that she deserves a man who is there for her when she needs him. After therapy, Mariah might be prepared to defend her marriage, only to find that the harm has already been done. What's up next? The emotional storms surrounding Genoa City and beyond are far from over as September arrives. A few intriguing ideas are hinted at by spoilers. The relationship between Burrows and Sharon changes. Their bond will grow, whether it be romantic or platonic. Burrows might show up frequently, providing a fresh perspective that makes Sharon reevaluate her goals in life. Nick's insight. Nick may finally understand that love demands consistency rather than just intention after years of making the same mistakes. He can experience unpleasant introspection as a result of his attempts to mend his relationship with Sharon. The fallout between Daniel and Tessa. The secret Boston kiss won't last long. When Mariah finds out, it may either force her to face her problems or cause her to permanently leave. Noah's convalescence. Noah might emerge as the voice of reason as he recovers, urging his parents to make decisions that put happiness ahead of habit. His mishap can be the turning point that changes their fates. Conclusion: the influence of emotional sincerity. Fundamentally, these overlapping tales serve as a reminder to viewers of why The Young and the Restless is still so captivating even after several decades of broadcasting. The little, personal moments where love and vulnerability meet are what captivate audiences, not the corporate conflicts or the big betrayals. Sharon is standing next to Burrows in a calm hospital hallway. As it snowed in Boston, Tessa leaned into Daniel's arms. Nick realizes he's lost more than just time as he stares at the phone. "I pushed her away," Mariah whispered while seated in therapy. The series' emotional DNA is defined by these moments, which are messy, beautiful, and tragically true. The question as we move forward is not just who will end up with whom, but also what these characters discover about themselves in the process. Will Sharon be able to achieve serenity without becoming lost in the shadow of another man? Is Tessa able to forgive herself for one heartbreak-related error? Will Nick ever realize that showing up is necessary for love, regardless of what Newman drama breaks out next? One thing is certain: love in Genoa City is never easy, which is precisely why we can't stop watching. Only time will tell.